Credit score.
Okay.
Is there a minimum credit score required to purchase a house?
There is a minimum credit score. I can only speak for myself. I can go down to a 520 credit score all day long.
520.
That's right.
What up, y'all? It's your boy Ignorant. Real quick before I drop this episode, I just want to let you all know how important this is. This episode is going to be a little different than what you're used to. We normally talk about music business stuff and just business stuff, but in this episode, I talked to Riccardo Wardlow, who is a loan officer for Loan Depot. Now, I chose to talk to a loan officer because I think the majority of the clients that I have in the studio are minorities, brown and black people, and we don't own a lot of property. And I want you all to understand how easy it is, myself included. I've been renting since 09. You know what I'm saying? But as I looking to finally purchase a house, I think I would just like to share some of the information that is out there for us. There are grants. You can build a business into your house if you want to. You don't have to. It could be a little dangerous, but just letting you know that there are options out here for you if you've gone through bankruptcy, if your credit score is even as low as a 520. You know what I'm saying? You can own property, and I definitely think it's important that we think about that and that we own property and own land, because why not? But anyway, let's get into this episode.
Yo, welcome back to the third episode of the How to Sell Dope podcast. Today I have a very special guest, Riccardo Wardlow. How you doing today? How you doing today, brother?
Listen to me. I'm excellent and I'm getting better. Thank you for asking. I appreciate that.
I appreciate you coming on. Now, this one may hit a little different for a lot of people because at the end of the day, I think, one thing in particular, a lot of people that come in my recording studio are minorities. They're, African-American or Latino people. And I think it's very, very important that we own property, just on some whole nother other type shit. Like we need to own land and own property. So today we're going to talk to a loan officer to help you all get
best in the nation.
Best in the nation.
If you ask me, I'm the best in the nation all day. Let's go.
There you go. So we're going to try to get you a house, or at least set yourself up so you can buy one, because you can do it off of music. Just because you're a 1099 employee doesn't mean that you can't buy a house. You just got to be a little bit more strategic about it, from what I understand. And we're going to get right into it. This one might hurt. It might hurt my feelings a little bit. Maybe not, though. Maybe not. All right. So credit score. Okay. Is there a minimum credit score required to purchase a house?
There is a minimum credit score. I can only speak for myself. I can go down to a 520 credit score all day long. 520. That's right. I can go down to a 520. So here's the deal. Anything under a 580, you need 10% down.
Okay.
580 and up, 3.5% down.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
So, just because you got a 520 does not mean, you can't buy it. Things happen in life, and, people's lives change, and, you might have had a 600, 640, and then maybe you got a divorce or something happened or somebody passed away or something. And then all of a sudden, your score dropped, but you can still buy.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And you said, okay, so if this is, say, hypothetically, I was someone who had a 520, I don't have the 10% down necessarily, but I really want to buy. Is there any programs? Are there grants? Can you make deposits on your down payment? Like, how do you get up to that number?
Okay, so at the end of the day, if you're under a 580, no, you need 10% down. There's no way around that. Now, one thing you can get is, I know you have a great mom, parents. I know they might give you a gift, right? Your parents can give you a gift. Your brother, your sister, or a relative can give you a gift of that 10% if you want, or part of it. Yeah, absolutely. You go that route. But as far as grants and stuff like that, I need a 640 for any grant.
Okay.
640 all day.
Okay. 640 for a grant. Okay, that's definitely good.
But a 520 score can get you in the door. Right?
Hey, man, you might as well hop in the booth, man.
Hey, we might as well hop in the booth. 520 score, get you in the door.
Hey, bars. All right. What about people that have gone through bankruptcy? Especially, you know, as entrepreneurs, especially, I think that's one of the things that it's more common than not, starting a business. And it may be discouraging. You may find yourself in over your head at some point and need to file bankruptcy. If I had gone through a bankruptcy, am I allowed to, or am I able to purchase a home?
That's a good question. So, and I get this question a lot. So with a Chapter 7 bankruptcy, you need to have 2 years discharged before you can buy. 2 years discharged with the Chapter 7. With a Chapter 13, however, you can actually buy while you're in it. That's right. As long as you're in it for at least 12 months with 12 months on-time payments, you can buy while in a Chapter 13. You don't have to wait for it to discharge.
Okay.
And most times with the 13, the payments come out of your check automatically. So, I mean, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be on time with it for 12 months.
Right. Okay. So let's go back. In the event that you had a Chapter 7, once that 2-year period has passed, is the credit score requirement the same at that point, or does it change because you have that blemish on your credit report?
Nope. Exactly. It goes back to the same thing.
Okay.
And for that matter, it's 3 years if you ever had a foreclosure. So 3 years from the time your name came off of that property on the foreclosure, you can buy again. Same exact thing.
Okay. Definitely good to know.
And you know what? I was actually touching on that grant a little bit. So let me go back to that grant.
Okay.
The grant is not just for first-time homeowners. So what I'm saying is this: you can literally have a house today, sell it tomorrow, and still go get the grant. It's not just for first-time home buyers. You can have had multiple properties in the past.
Wait, can you have multiple grants?
You know what? There are some grants that work with others. Absolutely, there are some that you can do that with.
Okay,
like the city grants and the state grants and all that stuff. Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're someone that's into flipping houses, right? Like, I want to buy this house. Can I get a grant for this house? Turn around, sell it, and then get a grant for the next house.
Now, that's a good question. Now, when you're buying these houses, you aren't buying them with the grant, at least. You're buying them because you're moving into them, not because you're renting or you're about to flip them.
Got you.
So as far as I know, you're moving into it.
Okay. And you would need to live there for what, about 5 years or so before?
No, not necessarily. Not necessarily. I mean, it just depends. Some people say 6 months. Some people say 1 year. It's one of those things.
Okay.
It can vary.
Definitely good to know. Cover that. Okay, so my audience is creatives. I'm a creative. You know, I have this dream to one day have a house kind of like DJ Khaled. You know what I'm saying? Like I definitely want to be able to purchase a home and then also build out a studio. I turn that, like, my garage into a studio, or maybe build like a coach house to my house and build up a studio. I'm sure there's people out there that will want to buy a home and then, you know, set up like a video studio or a production studio or something like that. So in purchasing a house, is there a way to maybe request more money to facilitate the building of a business, or just, you know, in addition to the house that you're going to use as your business at some point?
Okay, absolutely. And that would be known as a 203K renovation loan. Those are very, very unique loans in the sense that you can customize your home to be what you want it to be. You can literally, and this is kind of crazy, but you could literally be driving down the streets of Chicago. You could see a old beat up 6 unit, and you can literally take and transform that into a single family house, a 2-flat, a 3-flat. As long as it's between a 1, 2, 3, or 4 flats, you can change that building to that, right? Now, I saw somebody who did that once with a 3-unit. They changed it into I'm talking about a ridiculous single-family home, man. It was so sick. I'm talking about he had different ways of getting around, but one of the coolest things was from the top floor to the bottom floor, he had one of those fire poles. It was so sick, man. It was just ridiculous. Each floor was just phenomenal, right? And we don't care what kind of shape it's in when you get it. We don't care if it has those city violations to where they're gonna tear it down, right? As long as it's all good to go when you're all done fixing it up, that's the only thing that matters. And I'm talking about you can change the structure up to and including like your appliances. You can even build in 6 months. So say it takes 6 months to make the place how you want it. You can build in 6 months payments so you aren't making payments on it before you can even move into it. It's sick, man. It's really unbelievable.
Wow.
Unbelievable. So
okay.
Yes, you can do that.
Okay. That's actually really cool. So, and I mean, is there any limit to the amount of money that you can request? Can I find like a 2-flat down the street and be like, you know what? I mean, I guess the ordinance would have to allow for it, but like, I want enough money to build a skyscraper on this piece of land. Can I?
Now it's gotta be. It can't be more than 4 units.
Okay, 4 units.
4 units.
I got tall ceilings. I can have 100-foot ceilings. 100-foot ceilings.
Yeah. Hey, that's all about the air traffic control there. But yeah, you definitely could. You definitely could do that.
Yeah, so I'm joking. So really, you can find a piece of property, and it may not have the value of what you want, and you can request however much money currently, right? So we're gonna go off future value.
So obviously, if you buy something for $50,000 and you want to put $250,000 into it, I mean, it's gotta be supportive that it's gonna be worth about $300,000 when it's all said and done, right?
Okay.
So so for instance, if everything in the area is only worth $100,000, we don't let you put $250,000 into it. It'll be a pink elephant. It'll never fly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have to be strategic about the area in which you're moving into first before you can even get to that point.
Right. Well, we won't let you overvalue it. It won't be overvalued in the sense of we won't let you put in $200,000 into something that's only worth $150,000.
Okay.
Yeah. After it's all said and done, because again, we don't care what it's worth when you first buy it per se. We care what it's worth after the fact. So they'll do a future value on it based on everything. Because you'll go get a bid based on everything you want done on it, the labor, the whole 9 yards, and based on that bid, the appraiser will appraise it and come up with like a future value, so to speak.
Okay.
And that is the value we're going to be working with.
Okay. Okay. That's dope. I'm definitely interested in that, as you can tell. And I guess I was going to ask, in what ways have you seen creatives use a home loan to support their craft? But I know you said you saw someone turn a 3-flat into a single family home, but have you worked with any creatives that have done anything like what I'm saying?
I have. I've seen people turn the whole basements into studios, that sort of thing, turn a garage into studios, performance. Because again, you can do what you want to do with your home.
Yeah.
As long as it makes sense.
Okay.
Other than that, I haven't seen much more than that because it is a home you're dealing with, not a business per se.
Okay.
But yeah, man, it's all about you. And the best thing about that is you are customizing. You are literally customizing your crib the way you want it to be. Just the way you want it to be.
Dope.
It's sick. You can even change. I mean, you could change walls. You could add rooms. You could do anything, man, as long as it makes sense.
Dope. Okay. So yeah, most of us, and that's the reason why I wanted to bring you on in particular to this audience, because most of us are 1099. And often because we're 1099, like myself, I own a business, so I claim every expense that's claimable because it comes out of my pocket, and at the end of the year, you got to deal with taxes and stuff. So how does that affect loan eligibility?
Yeah. Okay. So at the end of the day, whenever I have somebody that's 1099 self-employed, I'll tell them the same thing, which is if you're looking to buy, don't write anything off for 2 years or as little as humanly possible. Because, and I can tell you right now, I had this lady one time, she made, and I'll never forget it, she made approximately $980,000. Yeah. She wrote off $960,000.
How?
Right. Listen to me.
Hey,
Long story
do you have her account number?
Long story short, right? I can only approve we're making 20 grand a year. She was sick. Couldn't buy a thing. Because I had to use that. So what we do is this. We look at your tax returns. We look at your net after everything you wrote off, and then we average that for 2 years. That is how we qualify you if you're self-employed 1099. That's why writing all that stuff off is it shoots you in the foot because it takes all your purchase power away.
Okay.
So you want to write off as little as possible, if anything, if you're looking to buy in your 1099.
Okay. But so you average between 2 years. What do you do in COVID? Because I feel like a lot of people struggled in 2020 and in 2021. So are there any exceptions that are being made for those years? No?
No. We still have to average 2 years. Got to average 2 years. We get it, but we got to follow. I mean, I have to follow the rule. I don't make it, obviously, but yeah, we still have to average 2 years. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
now, there are some banks. I don't do this, but there are some out there, and I guess you could probably Google it, who will take bank statements and average your bank statements as far as cash flow you have going in and out of your bank statements. And I would just Google something like bank statement loan or something like that.
Okay.
And that should give you some information on that. If you have, a decent amount of cash flow going through your account, you can possibly do that. Now the rate will be a little bit higher because that's non-traditional, but it's still something that can be done so you don't have to wait.
Okay. And I mean, even what about people that have businesses? Because now there's a return for the business and for the person, but the person owns the business. So is there a way to combine those, or is it just?
Well, we're going to look at both, but that business is going to be key. Those business tax returns.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because we need to make sure we're working with some positive income.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Covered the grants. And what were the different types of grants again? I'm sorry.
There's different types of grants. You got some grants, some city grants. You have some grants where they're helping nurses, teachers, doctors, those type of grants. They also have some revitalization grants where they're trying to, revitalize some areas. So certain areas, whether it be Woodlawn or, wherever it may be, they might be giving out money for certain things, certain incentives for you to move into the area. Also, you have those state grants, those IDA grants. There's like 3 of those. There's one that's $6,000 where you need to stay in the house for 5 years in order for it to be forgiven. There's one that's $7,500 where you pay that back whenever you sell or refinance the house. And there's one for $10,000 you can get where you just pay a monthly payment of like, I think it's about $80 you pay on that one to pay that back. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And applying for those is simple.
You won't need to apply for those state ones. That's stuff we do for you.
Oh,
you don't have to do anything with that.
Okay.
Yeah,
Riccardo do that.
You got it. As long as your score is there, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You mentioned there's grants for doctors and teachers. Is there anything for creators out there, like musician grants or producer grants?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I haven't seen one of those as of yet.
Okay. We got to work on that. I'm gonna have to call somebody.
Yeah, we gotta call somebody.
Get Prisker on the phone.
Yeah, right?
Are there yearly trends with interest rates? Because Black Friday just happened. Does interest rate drop on Black Friday, or is there a better time of the year to purchase a home?
No, the best time to purchase is now. It's always the best time. Now is always the best time. As far as rates, you know what? It really just depends on what's going on in the world. What's going on with China, with us, with oil, with just what's going on. It kind of it's really no rhyme or rhythm to it, in my opinion. And I don't like to get caught up on rate, really. It's really all about payment and what you can afford. Mm-hmm. If the payment is where you want it to be, who cares what the rate is my philosophy. So I don't think you should get caught too much up on rate. Rate is like, you can't spend rate. You spend money, right?
Right.
I never seen nobody put their hand in their pocket and pull out rate, right? They pull out the money, I'm saving them.
But you spend the money over time with the rate, like if it's a higher rate. I just got a high interest rate on the car loan. I looked at how much I was paying and how much went into the card. I'm like, glad I was able to refi, because
Yeah. I mean, now don't get me wrong. If your scores aren't the best scores, you're not gonna get the best rate, obviously, right? I mean, that's just not gonna happen. Right. But that shouldn't detour you from buying, though. Especially if you can afford to play, still buy. You could always refinance once your score goes up. Right now, money is cheap to buy. It's cheap to loan, to get money. So you might as well use someone else's money while it's cheap to do so.
Okay.
Rates are great.
Okay. I guess with that being said, so how, based on income, and I know it's going to vary because, due to down payment and interest rate, but is there like a ballpark idea of income to property value that someone can purchase, right?
No. That's like a loaded question. So there's so many little things that go in. It goes into, so you got to look at your income. You also have to look at what kind of monthly debt you have. What kind of monthly debt are you paying out? Then we need to look at the real estate taxes, and then we can kind of figure out what kind of a purchase price is in there. Because you can make $24,000 a year and still buy a house, depending on the house and how much debt you have. But at the same time, you can make $200,000 a year and might not be able to afford anything because of the debt you have.
That's interesting. So even if I had a history of, I don't know, 10 years worth of making on-time rent payments, at let's just say the value of my rent, in Chicago was $1,400. Let's just say that, right? Would I be able to take that to you and get $1,400 a month worth of mortgage?
Not necessarily. Okay. Because when you're renting, they don't look into it like we do. Like, they don't care about debt ratio. And debt ratio is your monthly debt versus your income. It's a ratio. They don't care about that when you're buying a car. They don't care about that when you're renting a home, per se. Not like we do when you're buying a house. So we're going to look at that. And I get people all the time who tell me, I'm paying, $1,700 a month. I should be able to afford blah, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I get it. And I know you can, on paper, you can afford it, but your debt ratio is too high. Your debt ratio. So let me give you an idea of what debt ratio is. So let's say your monthly debt, credit cards, car notes, that sort of thing, was $1,500 a month. And your gross monthly income was $3,000 a month. You'd have a 50% debt ratio. You follow that?
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to keep you, well, with FHA, you can go up to, say, 56, 57, 58%. But with conventional, you want to be, under 45. So, like I'm saying, so when you're buying when you're renting an apartment, they don't care about that. That's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. They don't look at that ratio. We do. So just because you can afford that in an apartment doesn't mean on paper you're going to afford it with your debt ratio when buying a home.
Okay. Now you said your credit card. So is this like with your monthly payment due is, or is this just your overall balance of your credit card?
Monthly payments.
Okay.
I don't care about what your balances are. I care about what your monthly obligations are.
Okay. Okay. That's very interesting.
Everything is based off monthly.
Okay.
Your monthly expenses, your monthly income.
Okay. Yeah, because that's actually makes me feel a little bit better. All right.
I'm glad you clarified that.
Yeah.
I'm glad we got that clarified, because that's huge. Yeah.
And I mean, and just because I know there's multiple ways that you can file taxes. So let's just say, 2020 was a bad year. 2021 is looking a little bit better, but I'm looking to purchase in June, right? I can file taxes for half a year if I wanted to, right? I can file taxes in June if I wanted to.
June for what year?
For I'm talking about in the future for 2022, right? Like I could just say, because people can file taxes quarterly, right? They can file quarterly and I believe twice a year if they see fit. I believe you can file anytime you want to.
You know what? I'm sure there's some truth to that, right? But I'm used to people filing taxes once a year in January, between January and April, whatever it is, and going from there. If you're gonna file taxes more than once a year, obviously we need to look into that.
Okay. Because the point that I was getting at was if I had a super 6 months in 2022, and I'm like, okay, I done made $80K, I ain't claimed none of my expenses. I just filed my taxes for the first 6 months of the year. I got this tax return now. Does this qualify me to purchase more home? Because last year I claimed so much, but I'm ready to buy right now. Would that then change, I guess, my income from June of 2020 through June of 2022 instead of entire 2020 and entire 2021?
So to the best of my knowledge, you can't do that.
Okay.
to the best of my knowledge, and I know a lot, right? To the best of my knowledge, that's something you cannot do.
Okay.
That's what I call a very ingenious way of looking to get around something there.
Yeah. I just, sometimes you got to make something happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you have to have a full fiscal year in there.
Okay. And then I guess the next question is for those of us that actually own property already and we've been in it, but now we're looking to either upgrade or purchase a new home. Mm-hmm. Is there a way that we can do that without coming out of pocket, but using our existing home to do so?
So if you have an existing home, are you going to move into the new home?
That's a good question. Let's just say yeah. Let's go through both scenarios where you don't or where you are. Okay.
So both of them kind of go the same way, really. One, obviously, you'd have to have equity in your current property to be able to refinance the cash out.
Okay.
So as long as you can pull the cash out, you can use that cash to then buy the next property. If it's going to be an investment property, meaning you won't move into it, you're going to need 25% of that property.
Okay.
If it's a property you're moving into, depending on whether you have an FHA loan currently or not, you're going to need 5% down.
Okay.
Sorry, my phone keeps ringing. You're going to need 5% down and or 3.5% down if you can go FHA on it.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. But again, it's all about having equity. As long as you have the equity in your current property, you can refinance that, use the equity to buy something else. Yes, you can do that.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right. I think that for the most part covered all of my questions. Yeah, I guess last question. Who's your favorite artist?
Oh my gosh. Oh, first of all, can anybody answer that question? Can there ever be a favorite? I mean, it's just
top 5.
Oh. Are we talking about R&B, hip hop? What are we talking about?
What's your vibe?
We talking about living? We talking about living? We talking about not living? What we talking
all
about?
Time top 5.
Oh my God.
I know. You know what? Here, let's keep it to hip hop. Let's keep it hip hop. Dead or alive?
Obviously, you gotta have Biggie in there.
Okay.
You gotta have Pac in there. You've got to. You have to. And that's when it starts getting crazy because there's so many other good artists out there. Even now, there's some really good younger artists out there that are really, really, really. You know who I really like? I really like Juice WRLD, man.
Yeah.
I really.
Rest
yeah, man. He was a. Oof, I listen to him all the time. He's a huge with me. I think lyricists too. I gotta put Eminem in there. He's a ridiculous lyricist. He got a lot of lyrics are sick.
A lot of Black people are afraid to put him in like the top. I'm
not afraid to, man, because his lyrics are sick.
Yeah,
I mean, he's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and then I have to leave the last one open for anybody else who's good. Because I hate to try.
You can't do that's not a rule, man.
It's really tough for me to pick, man. Because then I think about somebody else. We don't hop off here and think about 20 other people. It's tough. I just love music. I love music. So to try and pinpoint one is just so crazy, man. I can't do it.
Yeah, I think you were bumping the Ray Shrimmer when when we started up. So
right.
Maybe they'd be in your 5. I don't know.
I'm bumping everything. I love music, man. I love music. Music like I love food. I love it.
Yeah, same, man. Well, I definitely appreciate you hopping on today and clearing some things up for us creative folks. And hopefully we'll be hitting you up to purchase our first home or our second home soon.
Mm-hmm. Hey, whenever you get ready, I got you. It's plenty of grant money out there. I work 7 days a week. You can always reach me. And I love helping people. So if you just ever need advice, man, just hit me up. I've been doing this for a long time, so it's all good.
Just thought about one more question. So when you said credit score, I know that there's a difference, one between FICO score and credit score. And I know there's also a difference between which system companies use, right? Like I use Credit Karma a lot. And I also
never use Credit Karma.
No.
So here's the deal. And it's so funny. And I've joked about this a gazillion times as to why, I don't know how Credit Karma is still in business. I don't know what they're doing, but their scores, first of all, maybe what's on there may be accurate, but their scores are way off. And I'm talking about anywhere from 30 to 90 points off almost every single time.
Wow.
And you know what? We use mortgage scores. So you want to be looking at some type of institution that's going to be using mortgage scores, because if they're not using mortgage scores, it's not going to be accurate. So I get some people who call me, and when you do my link, you pull your credit right then on the spot. So people come like, hey, you made my score go down. I'm like, no, I didn't make your score go down. That's the real score. They're like, what? I got 700 on Credit Karma. I'm like, listen to me. You really have like a 590. Or whatever I'm telling them. Whatever it may be. But get rid of Credit Karma. If you want to know your real score, hit me up, and I got you on that. I give you the real deal.
Right. Okay. So there's no personal credit monitoring system that you think is closer? What about Experian? Experian gives you a FICO.
It's better than Karma. But it's still not going to be what we pull. In my experience, I haven't seen a consumer spot that gives what we pull. Like I've never seen anybody have exactly what I pull when I pull it. I haven't seen that yet. I've been doing this for a long time.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hey, you know what though? Check this out. One other thing we didn't talk about, but it's something that we should talk about, and that is, I'm actually gonna do a video about this today on that Hungry Loan Officer. I'm gonna do a video on that. On the fact that most people think you have to have a 2-year, be at your job for 2 years to buy. And that's not true. You need to just have a 2-year job history to buy. So for instance, I had a gentleman, obviously I won't mention his name. He'd been locked up for like 9 years. He came out, he was on the job for like 90 days. So I went back to before he was locked up and I got his job history from that. So as long as you have a 2-year history, it doesn't have to be in the same line of work. And it doesn't have to be consecutive. As long as I have a 2-year history, you're good. And that's huge because some people don't buy because they don't think they can. And also, if you're a recent college graduate, all I need is your transcripts. Just show you was in college. You don't need a 2-year job history. I can show that and your current job, and you're ready to rock. Simple as that.
Okay, because now you see how my brain thinks. So, so does that mean that because I worked 2 years in 2018, 2019, doing something different than what I'm doing now, and if you weren't
self-employed, I already know what you're trying to say. If you were not self-employed, if you weren't self-employed right now, but let's say you were on your job for like 90 days, but it was a W-2 job. Yes, everything you were saying would be true all day long. Yep. Okay. I'd be able to go back and use that history to get you all set.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, but you got to be self-employed. Okay.
If you're self-employed, you need 2 years.
I've been self-employed for, I'd say, because even before like the business came, I got an LLC and did all the proper things with this. I was doing like Lyft and Uber. So I've been self-employed for 4 years, but I would need to show the last 2 years, or can I pull from any of those other years too?
Because we need to have 2 years of your self-employment.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And we're going to average that net income, the net after all expenses.
Okay. So the last 2 years of your self-employment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
And it's not the same when you're W-2. When you're W-2'd, right? Might as well say this too. When you're W-2, the rule is this. As long as you have not, let me put it like this. If you've been off of your job for 6 months, you have to be back on your job for 6 months. if you've been off your job for less than 6 months, you need to be back on your job for at least 30 days. That's high. So if you were off your job for 5 months and 20 days, just get back to work. As long as you're there for 30 days, you're good to go. But as soon as 6 month mark hit, you have to be back to work for 6 months.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. So that's hot. Little gem for you there.
Yeah. So I guess my next question is because you just dropped the gem on me with the Credit Karma thing. So is it better then for people who are interested in buying to just apply and then consult with you on the things that they need to do to get themselves ready? So I might not be ready today, but I'm going to let you see what's on my credit. And then would you then take a role of advising someone throughout the next, if you do this over the next 6 months, or if you do this over the next year, you'd be set up and ready to go?
I absolutely would recommend that. As a matter of fact, most people don't apply because they don't think they can get approved. When in fact, I approve a lot of people, man. I can't even tell you how many people I've approved that came to me telling me they didn't think they're gonna get approved. I mean, that happens all the time, and it's so crazy because they listen to other people, which is kind of crazy. But yeah, even if you don't think you can get approved, I think you should still attempt to get approved, because you don't know. I know, but you don't know. So let me tell you what to do. If you aren't ready yet, let me tell you what to do to get ready.
I like that a lot, because I think that's again, it's an ego, it's a blow to the ego if you try to apply, you don't get approved. But I think the fact that someone knows that even if it's not ready right now today, this person is going to help me get there in the next couple of months or in the next year. Yeah, I should still go through with it. That's a very good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. I recommend that to anyone, because if you wait until it's time to go and then you go and you aren't ready, well, now you got to really wait.
Yeah.
You might as well go now and at least know what needs to be done, if anything. You'd be surprised, man. We get done a lot of stuff, man. If we can't do the loan, no one can do it.
Okay.
In my opinion.
Okay. I like that. All right. Well, man, I definitely appreciate the conversation once again. Hopefully it was insightful to everyone else who's listening as much as it was for me. Because I think it's important that people in my field and all fields, brown, black, white, whatever, own property, but specifically I think minorities, brown and black people, we should own more property and take that. So I hope someone actually hears this and doesn't get discouraged from trying to buy a property and actually is encouraged to do so. And
listen, speaking of owning property, 95% of all the wealthiest people in the world have real estate behind them in some shape or form. Real estate is huge when it comes to money and power, man. That's the biggest thing that they have in common. The richest people have in common is real estate.
Yeah, because there's ways to make your real estate make money for you. There's multiple ways. We even talked about it. You can pull equity out of your house. You can move out of your house and rent your house to someone, or convert a property into a multi-unit, or convert a multi-unit into a single-family home. There's just so much you can do with property, and it's yours once it's yours, as long as you make your payments. Yeah,
it's real estate. It goes all the way back to the beginning of the time when they used to come and claim their little space. People come and claim they little, this is my space, this is my real estate. Now I gotta charge you to come through here. It goes way back. Real estate is king.
Yeah.
Make no mistake about it. I don't care what the market is. That's why I'm telling you right now, I wouldn't let interest rate or time of year dictate when I buy. It's always a good time to buy. Always.
Okay.
Always.
All right. Well, thank you again, sir. I appreciate you coming on. And
for sure.
Y'all hit up Riccardo Wardlow when you're ready to buy your property. I'll definitely have links to him and ways you can contact him below this video.
Absolutely. I appreciate that, bro. And I'll check you out on the Hungry Loan Officer on TikTok. I got some more videos put up there. Today I'm going to be doing catfish on there.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
All right, bro.
Let it know the links on low. I go based on toes. Let it know me, call. make that choice. Want it, tell them I want it, 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 I want it. Tell them I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it.